The promulgation of the 2010 Constitution that created 47 counties presented an opportunity for the now semi-autonomous devolved units to come up with policies that would enhance efficient service delivery. Kenya's semi-arid counties, where pastoralism is the main economic activity, have not been spared by climate change, whose effects are being felt across the globe. Opportunities brought about by devolution also came with teething challenges, where counties lack the capacity to formulate relevant policies that would assist the communities in building resilience. Catholic Organization for Relief and Development, CORDAID, through Partners for Resilience program, stepped in to fill the gaps in an effort to strengthen institutional framework and support policies that would address disasters reduction, climate change adaptation, and ecosystem management.
This phase of the project mainly focuses on policy dialogue and capacity building for the civil society organization. When you look back, when we had a devolved government, there were so many challenges that came about as much as there were opportunities. One of the challenges were the issue on policy formulation and also capacity strengthening of the new institutions that were in place. And as PFR, we saw the opportunity of working with county governments in building that institutional framework and also strengthening the institutions which are already in place. And we also realized that the policy formulation has been also devolved at both the county level, and the policies that we are actually supporting are policies to do with disaster risk reduction, climate change adaptation, and environmental policies and legislations.
In this approach, PFR partnered with county governments, national government agencies, and civil society organizations. In Isiolo County, Merti Integrated Development Programme, a non-governmental organization, took the role of the implementing partner.
We have been implementing PFR project from the PFR 1 to PFR 2, which is the PFR 2 started 2016 to 2020, and this is the last year. As an organization, we have achieved a lot in terms of implementation, and most of these projects have sustainability.
One of the successes of this partnership has been the enactment of the County Climate Change Fund Act 2018, where the Isiolo County government will be setting aside 2% of its annual development budget every year to support communities who will be required to come up with projects that can mitigate on the effects of climate change.
I'm happy to inform you that we have a Climate Change Fund Act in place. Actually, it was enacted in the year 2018, around August, and it's now an act, no longer a bill. It has been assented to by His Excellency the Governor. And the act spells quite a number of both administrative and legislative framework for operationalization of the act. Among the highlights in the act are the 2% of the annual development allocation for the county. That is 2% of the annual allocation. We are now in the stage of operationalizing the act now, trying to lay out the administrative part of it. So we have the ward planning committee and the county planning committee in place. The ward planning committee, we have about 10 wards in Isiolo County. 3 of them are concentrated around the town area, and we have got another 7 in the rural parts. So we have now a ward planning committee in all those wards, and this ward planning committee, in consultation with the community, they come up with their own proposals, they identify their own problems, and come up with their own proposal at the ward level. And these proposals, they sent it now to the county committee at the county level, which now bets according to a certain set criteria, and they are funded from this kit, especially with issues with boreholes, and then ponds, this could be resetting the already existing one, or even trying to come up with a new one. And then afforestation, basically that is tree planting, and flood mitigation measures. So literally we have been having a problem of floods. Recently we have got flood menace at a settlement called Saboru, where people are being displaced, and quite a number of them are left homeless and property destroyed. So in such a locality, we expect some flood control measures, proposal of that kind to be brought to the county committees and being funded where appropriate.
Another milestone in lobbying and advocacy towards building resilient communities was the passing of the Isiolo County Youth, Women and Persons with Disability Enterprises Development Fund Act and Regulations 2019. The law provides for the establishment of a kitty to promote the new and existing micro and small businesses and industries.
We have supported county government in the process of developing Youth, Women and Persons with Disability Act. So Act is in place and the county government have allocated 80 million for youth, 6 for women and also 4 million for persons with disability. And they have advertised last week the public notice that the groups now can apply that fund. And this fund is specifically for economic empowerment of these marginalized vulnerable groups within the community.
We realize that we have a youth, we have women and people with disability who will feel that they can make a backbone of our economy. And we realize that we have many challenges. One, in terms of youth, we have people, you have heard through the radios and the TVs that our boys are being recruited to issue Al-Shabaab. You hear our boys are targeted by the drugs and many other things which you normally have. Then now His Excellency said that we have to come up with a strategy to make these people valuable so that they can run the economy of this county. We have done issue of maybe market and dress. Do these people have any fund to run their business? So we said that let's come up with an act which ensures that these people are given some money every year. And the act is called Youth, Women and Persons with Disability Enterprise Fund Act. This talks of empowering women, youth and persons with disability economically. Find this initially we wanted it to be a grant, but we realized that if we give people grants and we give in terms of group, people might decide to share and it ends. So we said it has to be revolve fund. We give some money to them and then they start paying, and the paying period is around 1 year to 2 years. So that money we are at the stage of now dispersing it, because we have formed a board to run it. Our board has been appointed. We have opened bank account. It's not only for money to be transferred to that bank account, for us to now disperse to the people who have applied for the work qualifies. Mid-P managed to disseminate these things in 6 wards. These are ward of Kina, Merti, Wabera, Garmara, Burat and Bulapesa.
Nimetoka kwa kikundi inaitwa Malkabithanadi Cultural Village. Ni kikundi ya wamama na kikundi yenyewe inafanya kazi ya biashara ya ukulima. Leo tuliletwa na watu ya shirika la MIDP na tunashukuru sana. Na kwa sababu juzi tuliapply maneno ya fund ya wamama na vijana kwa county, tuliweza kuletwa hapa ndio tujue vile tutaenda kumanage hiyo pesa yetu. Ndio sasa isikuwe shida tukipata pesa. Tujue maneno ya record keeping na officials wajue kazi yao kila mmoja.
In taming perennial disasters, a legislative process that began 7 years ago is almost coming to a close. It has been a slow and tedious journey whose outcome is eagerly awaited.
Because of being faced with these disasters, there is need now to have a policy direction that will be able to guide whoever actor or even the policy makers on what we are supposed to do. And that's why we partnered with MIDP under the PFR project, so that we could now be able to come up with a policy. and we are glad that because here in Isiolo we have a very good partnership or working relationship between the national government, the county government, and also the civil societies. Of course, it's a process. It was a process because we also had a lot of public participation, where civil societies played a bigger role in ensuring that when we produce this document, we subjected to public participation. And after this public participation, we also validated and also we took it to the county assembly, and where the county assembly was able now to pass that policy, the disaster risk management policy.
We have supported the county government in the development of a disaster risk management policy, and the policy right now is in place, it has been approved, and we are now in the process of developing the DRM bill at the county level.
Started in January 2020, and it was finished in February 2020. Then in early March, mid-March, we decided to do after issues emerged from the first draft of the disaster risk management bill.
So once these policies will be put in place, the county government now will allocate fund to overcome and mitigate the effect of these disasters, and also put in place the structures from the village level up to the county level. Our community will be communicating if the disaster occurs.
In April, we managed to finish the bill, the second draft of the disaster risk management bill, and today we have validated what we discussed in that particular training, and some minor issues came up, and we are going to look into them and finish the bill. The bill is very important in managing disaster in this county, as the county, Isiolo County, really faces two major disasters, that is flood and drought, though we've been having other issues emerging. For example, the locust issue, which has affected also Isiolo and other neighboring counties, and also the global pandemic, coronavirus. So this disaster, bill, the disaster risk management bill, will be very important in management of disasters.
Disasters are not only confined in the rural areas. Urban centers have their fair share of hazards, and the elevation of Isiolo town into municipality gives the authorities the mandate to mobilize funds and enforce relevant laws to minimize disasters.
One of the major challenges is a lot of encroachment being done on access roads where the fire engine cannot access. Major challenge is part of Bulapesa ward, and also part of Wabera ward. Wabera ward and Bulapesa ward is a major place where the vehicle cannot attain the fire incident within CBD. So we are planning to enforce Physical Planning Act 2016 to unlock access roads within CBD coming financial year 2020-2021.
The successes witnessed in the lobbying for enactment of various policies and legislation in the county can be attributed to the formation of a network that brings together more than 60 civil society organizations operating in Isiolo County. Isiolo County Civil Society Network ICCCN, under the coordination of MIDP, heralded a new dawn on coordination and building synergies for the benefit of the community.
We have formed Isiolo County CSO Network. This is bringing together 60 CSOs that are working within Isiolo County.
I must admit, and I must say that by and large, Caritas has benefited from the network in many ways. I've worked in civil society organizations for 30 plus years. You rarely hear some of these things, what happens at the county level. So it is through the network that we got information about an annual development plan, which is developed at the county level and developed by each sector. We have engaged with the county assembly. I have not done that before. When you engage county assembly, literally you're engaging people who civil servants in the county assembly, because we engage them in a process of developing a policy. We have engaged county officials who are politicians, engaging them on service delivery and asking them questions that ordinarily you may not even find time to do. So it's through the network we were able to do that.
We are not working in a coordinated manner. So we realize there is need to bring together CSOs. So we come up with the CSO network in May 2018. And we meet on quarterly basis just to discuss the progress of the report. We have our share common work plan as a CSOs, so that we will not duplicate what we are doing, avoid duplication, and also synergize each other on what we are doing in the county.
Through the network, we've been able to see the fruits of coming together, collectivized ideas, synergies. And some of the successes came through in 2018 when we were able to come together and rally behind the Climate Change Adaptation Fund Act, which was passed in June 2018. At the network, we've been able to rearrange ourselves in 10 thematic working areas, which is aligned to the working committee at the assembly. We have the gender thematic working group who have been able to embrace and been able to advance the Gender and Economic Empowerment Act, which was a good success. And also, currently we are working with on livestock policy and the rangeland management policy, which we are pushing it hard through the network and working closely with the assembly.
One of the strategic partners in building community resilience through the PFR program is Wetlands International Kenya. In the past 5 years, it has been enhancing communities' capacity while working closely with the Water Resource Users Association, RUAS, and lobbying for integrated risk management (IRM) sensitive policies.
We have three domains. So we have practice domain. Practice domain means how can we influence our stakeholders, civil society particularly, and communities in terms of what they do. Okay? So their capacity and lobby and advocacy. So we build their capacity to lobby and advocate for resilience, for their own resilience. So when you talk of practice, and what we've done like for Wetlands International is building this capacity of the RUAS, the Water Resources Users Associations. We realize that these are legal entities, and then we need to work within the government framework or the policy framework. So we identify them as the key stakeholders in our processes. And then the first thing we do is organizational capacity assessment. So we look at what are the levels, the capacity levels of these RUAS, because there are so many issues in terms of registration, in terms of governance, in terms of financial management and all that. So we have done more than 42 organizational capacity assessments for 42 RUAS along the Wasonyiro Basin.
Despite the challenges, several RUAS in the Wasonyiro catchment area have some achievements to show, owing to the partnership between the Water Resources Authority, Wetlands International and MIDP.
When the RUA is formed, as campo is developed, that is level 1. And according to WSTF, it is given around 1.5 million for formation and development of a scam. And then there is a level 2, 3, 4, like that. So in the second level, which now Serisho is in, they were given, we assisted them with various things. They are doing very well. And we felt that assistance was good for the RUA, because now people can realize, because when it comes to implementation, it's when people realize that RUA is doing something. But when you have a scamp only, you call yourself a RUA, it is not, it doesn't translate to anything to the community. So when you start implementing the activities, is when they realize the importance of that RUA.
Tumepatiwa capacity building na watu ya WRA na pia mid. Tukiwa Merti kama wiki moja hivi tumepatiwa capacity building. Tukanunua hii tank 8. This 10,000 liters tank. Tukaweka kwa institution ya serikali mahali 8, hospitali, shule na sehemu zingine. Kuja 2015-16 tulipata pesa nyingine ya kupanua pans ya serikali. Hiyo pesa ya kwanza ilikuwa 2.5 million. Pesa hii ya pili ndio 5 million. Ya pans na installation 2015-16. Installation ya solar panel. Hiyo ni milioni 5. Hiyo pan ilifanywa fencing, kwa mlango tumepeana contract.
Tumetengeneza hata sandam hapo kwa pande ya Resaboro. Sericho naye tumejenga, tumepata borehole, tumenunua sola. Mpaka saa hiyo sola imetusaidia sana. Wakati hii generator yetu inaharibika, tunatumia hiyo sola. Hiyo ndio unaokoa maisha ya hawa watu wetu.
The year 2020 will go in history as a time unprecedented health disaster was witnessed across the globe. The COVID-19 pandemic that brought the entire world into a near standstill. As an organization working at the grassroots, MIDP was obliged to realign its program and extend technical and material support to vulnerable communities in the wake of this health crisis.
We are being trained about how to precaution about the COVID-19, and I, as a volunteer, we are facing some challenges like stigmatization, whereby our local community are stigmatizing those people who are being isolated because of contact tracing. Like we had one patient who had COVID-19, who was stigmatized from the community. People didn't want to associate him with any one of them. So today, with the MIDP, we have learned how we can stop the stigmatization in the community.
Tumetrainiwa na MIDP in conjunction with the county government of Isiolo. My expectations tukirudi hapa, I hope to improve on our health system, especially mambo na WHO guidelines, social distancing, kuosha mkono. Our communities are very arrogant people. Na tuna expect we improve on this.
The role civil society played and the leadership of MIDP has made a difference, and I think is an exemplary, and I will urge all and sundry to be able to emulate that example so that we make a difference, because this is not a one institution disease. It's not a responsibility of one institution to be able to address or control this disease. It is the responsibility of all of us.
As the second phase of PFR program came to a close in December 2020, MIDP could look back and count on the strides made in building resilient communities. Indeed, the partnership has laid a firm foundation based on sustainability through the establishment of a strong network between civil society organizations, humanitarian agencies, county and national governments.
I'm glad to appreciate the activities that has been carried out by MIDP through the support of Wetland and CODED. CODED and Wetland have been supporting our organization for the last 14 years on policy development like disaster risk management, RUA, that is, they have at least managed to assist and uplift the communities, those who are believed to be pastoralists, especially by building their resilience towards drought management, and the many other activities that has been carried out in Siricho, Garbatula, Merti and Isiolo as general. They have been of good importance to us. They have at least managed to go with us to empower our community through resilience, and that is the most important part of it.
Daftina daf Kenya na irkota ya labana Iro tanchuf lala daftina daf Kenya na